So that's pretty much it. Those are the 12 hallmarks of aging. I want to emphasize that despite this video now being well over 2.5 hours, this really has been just a cursory glance at the science involved in anti-aging. I mean, if Mauler can make a near 6-hour video just pointing out all the flaws in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, then I'm sure you can appreciate that this video could go on and on. It's almost like people make entire careers out of anti-aging research. But YouTube is not my full-time job, and I knew if I just kept going into the minutiae of the research, this video would never get finished. This, in all honesty, was only meant to be an introduction to the science. For those giga nerds who are interested, there's plenty of additional reading to be found in the description below. That said, there are a few more areas of research I wanted to briefly touch upon before I move to the next chapter. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy involves breathing in pure oxygen in a pressurized environment, typically in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber as the name implies. Researchers found that this therapy can reduce chronic inflammation, improve cellular function, enhance wound healing, activate stem cells, and decrease oxidative stress, as well as promote the formation of new blood vessels through neovascularization. It's honestly quite a strange solution to me, but the results do seem to be solid. Not quite longevity related, but I guess you could argue longevity adjacent, is the use of cryonics. The Cryonics Institute provides services that will freeze your body in the hope that technology will be better in the future to bring you back to life. I don't honestly see any benefit to this. Water is one of the few substances that expands rather than contracts when it freezes, owing to the hexagonal structure ice forms. This means that cells would expand and rupture through lysis, destroying most of the cells in the body. Add to this the fact that, due to legal reasons, individuals can only be frozen after they have died, not before, then it really doesn't hold much promise to me. Living forever might be possible, but from my understanding of science and the human body, once you're dead, that's it. Now, in relation to cryonics, some future research may come to fruition through studying tardigrade. These are microscopic organisms known affectionately as water bears, and a personal favourite species of mine. These guys are the definition of mad lads. They can survive temperatures close to absolute zero by entering cryptobiosis. Their metabolic activity comes to almost a complete halt, and they lose almost all of the body water content in their cells, entering a frozen glass-like state called vitrification, which prevents ice crystal formation inside the cells. Now, I'm a little bit skeptical, but maybe in the future we can find a way to repeat this process in humans. As for technology in the future that can literally bring people back from the dead, I'm much more skeptical. I guess for the desperate, a slim hope is better than none at all. What it does show me, however, is that we really need to find a way to conquer death once and for all. I just don't think cryonics are the way to do it. Finally, you have the concept of digital immortality. There are those that believe in the future, and some who even state as early as 2030, that we will be able to digitally upload our consciousness to the cloud so that we can live forever in digital space, entering android bodies at will. In fact, this is a concept I explored in one of the novels I've been working on, which you can read one day when literary agents stop fucking rejecting me. Not mad at all, I promise. Maybe that's ignorance on my behalf. I'm not a computer scientist, unless you want to state that those shitty Doom 2 maps I made qualify me as a coder. But for this concept, I want to invoke the ship of Theseus thought experiment. Say you have two ships, Ship Alpha and Ship Beta. Each is made of 365 planks of wood. Each day, you take one plank from Ship Alpha and replace one of the planks on Ship Beta. At the end of a year, is Ship Alpha still Ship Alpha? Is ship beta still ship beta? Or is ship beta now ship alpha because every plank that made ship alpha is now in ship beta? What makes us us is the neurons in our brain. To be honest, everything else is just a meat suit to keep that organ functioning. If you were to upload your consciousness to the cloud, then I don't see how it would still be you. It would just be a copy of you. Sure, to everyone else it would be indistinguishable from the real thing, but you would die in the process, whilst a copy of you lives on. I am curious if we were able to incrementally digitize ourselves, replace our brain one step at a time, does that then mean that we become digitized? That's what some people seem to believe, but I have a hard time thinking that to be true. And maybe for some, having a copy of them live on is good enough for them. But it's not good enough for me. People will still die. People will still suffer. So why would I want to promote a solution that I don't think ends the things I want to end? I know there's been a few works of fiction to explore this idea, including the movie Chappie and the video game Soma. But as much as I would love for this to be a reality, I just don't see how it's possible to digitize one's mind without the original continuing to live on until one day they die. There was actually a really good Black Mirror episode that explored this concept. Again, if you don't want spoilers, then please skip to the next chapter. Okay, ready? Right. In Season 3, Episode 4 of the series, San Junipero, people who die are uploaded into a virtual world where they can live a life forever young and get to enjoy things in perpetuity. The thing is, as far as I'm concerned, even if this were possible, which I don't think it is, it brings me back to the point I made at the start of this video, about how awful heaven would be in a world where there's no struggle. It's a wonderful fantasy to give people optimism, and very uncharacteristic for Black Mirror. But as far as I'm concerned, that's all it is. A fantasy.